Welcome to Codex History of Video Games. My name's Tyler Osby.
And I'm Mike Coletta.
And this week, it's a mailbag for December 2025. So if you're listening to this in the future, that's great. We appreciate you, but this is the time period that it is sort of locked to, is December 2025.
What's the future like?
Yeah,
That's
tell us
the
about
question.
it. Send us an email now and tell us about what the future is like.
Are there replicators?
Yeah.
Can you just go Earl Grey hot? That's what I want to know.
Do jetpacks exist?
Mm-hmm. Actually, I was trying to write a joke for a long time about being like, buffalo wings hot. It's like really trashy foods in a replicator. But yeah, so, I mean, maybe someday. But
Buffalo wings, extremely spicy.
It's buffalo wings, hot, ranch, blue cheese, carrot sticks, peeled. Like, just really go into it. Okay, we're not going to, this is not how we do this, though.
There's something there. There's something there.
There's something there, but we'll work on it. We'll workshop it together. Tyler writes all my jokes. Okay, so let's get into the first email. So the first email is titled Licensed Movie/TV Games, among other things. So I'll start reading this one. It's Wyatt again, the erosion control guy. I actually got switched from working the night shift to days. At first, I thought I was doomed because I got fired from everywhere else, literally because I couldn't wake up since I am a night owl. Dude, I empathize with that so much. However, I am pleased to announce I have survived a whole week of waking up at 5 a.m. every day. Congratulations. If we had a applause soundboard, this is where we would use it.
Oh, I do. Hang on.
Oh, you do? Okay, cool. Let's get Wyatt's applause.
It goes on for a while. Wow.
We're proud of you, Wyatt. Okay, and it actually hasn't been that hard. This, in turn, has allowed me to have more time to watch my movies/TV and play my video games. I finally just beat Shrek 2 on PS2. And it
That's
says,
a
yes,
long backlog.
That is a long backlog. Followed up in parentheses, it says, yes, I am a child trapped in a 23-year-old's body. So Wyatt goes on to talk about more stuff. We're cutting emails for time. By the way, we cut emails for time sometimes, everybody, okay? It's okay. We don't like you. It's just it's reading's hard, all right? Then he goes, the last thing before I make this incredibly long email longer than it is, I also was able to find a Game Boy Advanced SP on Facebook Marketplace for a good deal that came with the Scooby-Doo Game Boy Color game. I haven't beat that game yet, but so far the Game Boy Advance games I have beaten are The Cat in the Hat, yes, based on the 2003 live-action movie.
The Mike Myers one?
I believe so, yes. Van Helsing and Flushed Away. What is Flushed Away? Is that a movie?
That was a movie about mice, I think, but I didn't watch it. I feel like maybe they must have been flushed down a toilet or something and have to find their way back. I don't know. That's all I know is from the picture I've seen of the cover of Flushed Away.
Honestly, if you told me that was the story of Flushed Away, I would 100% believe you, though, Tyler.
Sounds right. Well, now I feel like I got to look it up.
Wyatt goes on to say, soon I will be playing Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. And yes, if you couldn't tell, I'm a huge fan of licensed movie TV games. Yeah, those are kind of awesome, though. And the Game Boy Advance has a ton of those.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my next conclusion. I do believe you have talked about licensed movie TV games, but I would love for you to pick one or maybe a handful to do an episode on them where you do a deep dive into the game's history, design, gameplay, just basically a deep dive into how the game was made and reviews of the game and all that stuff. You could maybe do an episode like licensed movie/TV games volume 1 and then do another volume sometimes. Just an idea, but I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. Not sure when you'll be reading this. Well, thank you. It was a great Thanksgiving. Was yours great, Tyler?
It was, yeah. I did have a good Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Thanks for asking, Mike.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, Wyatt asked. I didn't ask. Wyatt's the one you should be thanking.
Oh, well, thanks for asking, Wyatt.
Very good. See you all later. Also, Wyatt goes on to send us another email saying that they actually made a horror film, like a found footage horror film. It's called Rear Projection, and you can watch it on it's fawesome.tv. So fawesome.tv. Does sound like it's not safe for work. You know, it's a horror film. I figured people would get that. Okay. It's probably
we don't know what the content of this film
we don't know
is.
what the content is, but we just like to plug people's projects on our show because why not? So fawesome.tv. That's just the letter F, awesome.tv. Okay. And hopefully Wyatt can put it on the Discord and then everyone will be able to click a link and that's easier. But thank you, Wyatt. Yeah, I would love to do more movie games. In fact, I started today doing an episode on a movie game and found a side story about it that we could talk about, but there's not a lot on the development of the movie game itself, but it's my favorite movie. I can honestly say it's one of my probably top 3 movies there was a game made for it that I had no idea. And I don't think people are going to expect it.
I'm excited.
But we'll do it someday because I've written an episode on it. I wrote a script separately today. A busy, productive day today, honestly. So, but we'll talk about that another time.
It would be fun, I think, to try to find maybe an expert on, like, somebody who has worked in the licensed game area, but to like talk about this stuff before, because I think it would be cool to ask questions like, so how much of a licensed game is like somebody else came up with this great game and like, oh, we got the license to Shrek, so we slapped Shrek on it, but it's like this person's game that they loved, and how much of it is like, oh, we have to make a Shrek game, let's make a game based on Shrek. Like, I'm sure both scenarios happen, or it happens in various ways. Like, I just want to hear from somebody who's like done this a few times. It's like, how does this happen? Because especially for things like kids things where it's like these are presumably adults working on this game, right? That are like making a like a Paw Patrol game, right? It's like, how do you decide what features you're going to put into this game? Like, how do you feel as a software engineer working on this kind of game that like maybe is not aimed at you? Like, I don't know. It's just like, these are interesting questions to try to figure out, you know?
Yeah, no, that's super interesting. I know if we did this, here's how I propose we do it. We go by console generation. So we start early with like, you know, famous E.T. Atari game that we've gotten a negative review about before. I'll always remember it for that. And then go up into like NES, because I know like NES had some really like considered decent games. Like the Jaws Nintendo game, the Jaws NES game is kind of unique. It's simple, but it's got some cool mechanics where like Jaws hunts you kind of in the game. So it'd be cool to talk about that.
Does that come about as because somebody is given the assignment, make a Jaws video game, and they go, okay, I got you? Or does that come about as somebody's like, I have this cool idea for a game that I've been kicking around. I don't really like, I don't think I can sell it very well because it's not that compelling. And then they go, but what if we made it a shark game and put Jaws on it, and then it would sell? And that person's like, yeah, dude, let's put my game. Or is there a person who made a game working at a company? They're like, they have this cool like concept of a game that doesn't really have any IP attached to it. It gets shelved forever. And then they're sad about it. And then they're like, well, what if we made it a Shrek game? And then that person's like, no, but that's against everything this game stands for. And then like this game comes out and they're like, it was my baby and they made it a Shrek game. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
kind of like how they we talked about how they've multiple times Mario 2 being like a completely reskinned existing game into Mario.
Yeah.
Like if they do that. I know in that book that I have about horror, I think it's from Ants to Zombies, that game, that book has some movie games in it, and they talk about it because some of the movie games are like, the games are gorier than the movies were.
Yeah.
Which is kind of an interesting dynamic. So we could talk about that. There's a lot here, but
yeah,
GoldenEye, like,
so and there's like, they sort of have this reputation of just being like, generally speaking, not very good games, but then there's a few gems in there. Spider-Man 2 comes to mind, GoldenEye, right? Like some of these games like come to mind, and now more recently we don't really see them anymore. Like you don't just see it like a kid's game or a kid's movie comes out, you don't really see a game attached to it. We do see a lot of like adaptations, like I'm thinking Marvel's Spider-Man, right? It's not attached to any particular Spider-Man movie, but it's still a licensed game in that sense, or the Batman Arkham games and things like that. Like that sort of seems to be the more, like they don't do movie tie-in games anymore. I think it speaks to like how expensive it is to make games today. And a lot of those games were like, they slapped them together cheap because they knew it would sell if they put Shark Tale on it, you know?
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Which you can't really do that today because like just the brand isn't enough to make your money back anymore.
Also, realistically, if they were going to make a movie tie-in game and they're just trying to do it for a money grab, they'd probably make it a mobile game.
Oh yeah, I think that happens a lot. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
We can just slap some microtransactions on this, and then we'll be good to go. That's
we'll run it for a year, and then if it crashes and burns after that, that's fine. We got our bag.
Exactly.
Yeah. These are interesting questions.
These are, yeah. Thank you, Wyatt, for your email. Do you want to read the next one?
Yeah, I'll read the next one. The subject of it is VR ? Greetings, Mike and Tyler. In a recent episode, you were talking about whether or not to go for VR along with the Steam Machine. I was wondering if you had ever thought about doing an episode on the history of VR. Until recently, I have never dabbled in it since I didn't feel like it was worth spending the money on the headsets for the few games that seemed popular. However, my neighbor sold me a set for $100, so obviously I immediately installed Beat Saber and I absolutely love it. I also wonder what you think are top VR games right now. I feel like they're not as talked about as your mainline non-VR games, so I have no idea what's out there. Let us know what you think. P.S. In other news, my Bioshock, Eternal Darkness, Final Fantasy IX, Halo, and Metroid tattoos came out great. Ooh, should send us some pictures.
Yeah.
Next up, Pokemon, Minecraft, Super Mario, Myst, and Stardew Valley. Nice.
Mist. Oh, I love Mist.
PPS. Also, Mike, I feel the Borderlands 4 pain. My wife and I had to go out and buy brand new gaming laptops just to get it to run. We are enjoying it, but it doesn't have the magic of Borderlands 2 somehow. I know they just put out a patch for Borderlands 4 like yesterday, I think.
Finally, maybe it'll work. But
going
I
against
know,
everything Randy Pitchford said. Yeah, Randy Pitchford was like, "This is your fault. The game doesn't run. This is a game for people who have PCs that can run it. And if you can't run it, then you're not the audience." And then they put out a patch where they're like, "We made it run better on."
And then I upgrade my PC and it doesn't work. Randy Pitchford, my nemesis. It's Randy Pitchford and that guy from Shark Tank that ruined the mech that I already
the
talked
private
about.
equity guy.
Yeah, the
Mr. Wonderful. What's his name?
Yeah, the guy from Shark Tank, whatever or something his name. He's supposed to be my enemy, and I already forgot his name. That's not good.
Yeah, that's how you know you're winning the fight. Actually, is if you don't even know who he is anymore.
He could be like, Mike, why do you keep talking about me? I'm like, I don't even know who you are. I can hit him with that.
Exactly.
That hits hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Get him with the Don Draper.
Ooh, yeah. I gotta get another tattoo. A Bioshock tattoo would be cool. I'd definitely go with a Bioshock 2 tattoo. Because
Minerva's Den specifically.
I really like Minerva's Den. I really like Minerva's Den. I think I made that clear in our episodes on it, but I still think about Minerva's Den sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? Especially with now in the age of like AI and computers that can think and all that stuff. And that's kind of what Minerva's Den sci-fi talks about, in ways. It's kind of interesting. So
I'm still trying to figure out what my first tattoo is going to be. I'm gonna get one someday.
It's gonna be Metal Gear Rexes that we get, matching Metal Gear Rex tattoos.
I
would do that. I would do that with you. I would get a matching Metal Gear Rex tattoo.
That would
like
be
a cute
tattoo.
little one, like so it's not too big because you don't want. Honestly, man, this was kind of big. Like it was big enough that after about 2 hours, I was like sitting in the chair, like, ooh, like it like started getting to me. But if you start smaller, then you get like to know what it's like,
that I'm not really worried about the pain part of it. It's really more the like permanent thing. Like
ourselves
what is
a
good
tough
enough
guy.
to. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's easy to say as a person who's never gotten a tattoo before. So
I'm just joking.
But more of the like you're putting something permanent on you. What do you want that to be? That's the part where I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know.
Well, I will tell you that I had the idea to get the Oddish because I was thinking the same thing. Like, what do I permanently want to put on me? And I was like, well, that was my favorite tattoo. My favorite Pokemon.
It's your favorite tattoo that you have too.
It is currently. It is my favorite Pokemon as a kid. And I was like, I want to get this. And then I reached out to a tattoo artist thinking we're talking 6 months. And then I had an appointment in 3 weeks. And it was just like, go. And I was like, well, I'm locked in. We're doing it. And I just kind of did it. And I do not regret it at all. It was really great. So like, yeah, maybe I know you like Metal Gear Solid,
I do like
just get nano machines tattooed across your chest.
Just nano machines on my forehead. I'll get Raiden's metal jaw, just the whole thing tattooed
on your jaw.
On my jaw, yeah.
Dude, how bold would it be for your first tattoo to be a face tattoo? That would be amazing. That's a bold move, man.
Yeah, and I don't think I will ever get a face tattoo.
Here for it. Okay?
Oh, I'm not.
I'm going to get Tyler's face tattooed on my face. You heard it here first, folks. A bold move.
And then I'm going to get my face tattooed on your face tattooed on my face.
Mm-hmm. Faceception, as they call it. That's what they call that in the tattoo industry. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I will say, though, with VR.
Back to VR.
Back to VR. So, of course, I don't want to say, of course we thought about it. The history of VR, I want to talk about because one, that is, I think I've said it, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, that VR is currently my weird YouTube thing I watch all the time. Like VR content from VR content creators talking about the state of VR and where it's at and how it's going. So I actually do know some of the games that are in it, right? And the origins of it are interesting because the origins are like you would get physically sick. Like it would make
you can go way back too into the 80s and 90s because like virtual reality has been this like sort of like jetpacks, it's just like been talked about for decades, and really only recently have we gotten stuff that like in the past like decade that like feels like, oh, this is what they meant when they talked about VR in the 80s and 90s, right?
I remember working at a law firm and it was like 2014 and I read an article on the guy who made Oculus. This is before Meta bought it, right? and they were talking about how it really was like a problem was people just getting sick all the time. That's kind of why it just didn't work. And so finally, this guy made the technology where you don't get sick, and that's what made it.
Yeah,
popular
it's got to be
again.
the latency's got to be super low. It got to run really high frame rate. Like you can't 60 FPS is like not fast enough to not get sick for a lot of people.
So it would be good to talk about. I do think there are some good VR games right now. Like I know there's a Star Wars VR game that's actually got like a story to it, and it's pretty good. I don't know what it's called off the top of my head, but there's also a lot of the videos I watch are people making their own mods to play VR non-VR games, like Fallout 4 specifically, or like Fallout New Vegas in VR, just to like experience those games differently. I know there was a big Fallout Grand Theft Auto 5 mod that got taken down because it was like IP struck down. You can still get it according to
I mean,
the internet.
nothing really leaves the internet.
Exactly, but that's like something that I think is pretty popular, and I kind of wish developers would do is like make games with the idea also of being like, hey, if you want to make this in VR, we'll set you up for the tools to do that. You can do that. The mod scene, go ahead and go for it. So like we don't have to spend extra production time on it, but we'll leave it open ended. That's what I would like to see. But I know Blade and Sorcery is a really popular one.
Half-Life Alyx is supposed to be really, really good.
Yeah, Half-Life Alyx. How did I not even think of that?
Yeah, that's the one that I'm very interested in trying. I know it's a few years old now, but I would really love to check that one out. And I mean, yeah, like this guy said, Beat Saber is that's one thing. When you see Beat Saber, you're like, this experience can't happen in any other way. Like it has to be VR, right? And like those are the kinds of things that are very interesting. I also want to try like Tetris Effect in VR. I know it has a VR edition. So does I think Luminous Arise also does. And like Rez, like those kinds of games seem really cool. The problem is just it's so expensive is kind of the thing. And so I've just been sort of hesitant because of that, because like I don't want to buy like a $700 headset for like a couple of different games. But the backlog is getting big enough at this point that like maybe by the time Steam Frame comes out, if it is like sort of the one to get, this might be time. This might be the one.
Well, Tyler and I talked off air and about these questions, and I think we're in agreement with we trust Valve more than Oculus.
Oh yeah,
as
absolutely.
far as like a company to buy a VR headset from. So,
Yeah.
because in my mind, it's because I know Valve has spent years developing this. They didn't like try to rush it. They don't put out products that are like, they try not to. Like, they're not saying they don't, but they say they try to put out products that are not rushed or not thought out. So
and they're not trying to sell our data.
Yeah.
Like Facebook or Meta is like, they're not a games company. They're an advertising company that wants to sell your data, and everything they do is in service of that. So like, even when they say this is our games like division and they make games, I'm like, yeah, but it all funnels up into what your main thing is, which is advertising, which is not Valve, right? They make games and they sell games.
Just Mad Men VR.
Yeah.
Right.
They mostly sell games, but sometimes they make them.
Yeah. So I don't know. Half-Life Alyx is the number one on my list, probably to play for sure. That's going to be the one, because that's like a story-driven game, narrative game in VR that's meant for VR. So, and the index is just so expensive. I mean, that's the problem. I guess it really all depends. Just like the Steam machine, what's the price going to be? What's the frame going to be priced at?
What VR game won the
tell us.
Game Awards this year? It was, The Midnight Walk. Yeah, see, I hadn't heard of any of these games. Alien, Rogue Incursion, Arkan Age, Ghost Town, Marvel's Deadpool VR, and The Midnight Walk are the games that were nominated this year for the Game Awards. The Midnight Walk won, so apparently it is very good.
Well, I don't trust the Game Awards after they ruined Jurassic World Evolution 3 for me.
Yeah, well, they gave it to
forgive
Final
them.
Fantasy, so I'm fine with it.
I know. Tyler voted for Final Fantasy, everyone.
That's true. Well, I haven't played Jurassic Evolution 3, and I played a lot of Final Fantasy Tactics.
We're feuding now.
Yeah,
Don't tell
is
anybody.
Mike and I are fighting over this.
This is our last episode. I'm just kidding. That's what tears them apart.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm surprised it wasn't Expedition 33, which
That's
a game
true.
I absolutely loved and I think deserves all the awards it got, but it sure did get a lot of awards. And there were a lot of other great games in there that kind of feels bad that they got skipped over, but oh well.
I need to play it.
You should.
It's just the commitment of the JRPG style game is the
Yeah.
hard thing.
Yeah, I think I finished it in like 35, 40 hours. It's like it's not a Persona level.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay,
And it's
good
well
to know.
paced. It's very fun. You'll love it. It's great. I could talk about it forever. But yeah, anyway, VR. We're gonna get them someday, I guess.
We'll get there, but that's a really good point. We gotta talk about that. So, all right, the next email on here is from FBass, who told us the name is FBass, by the way. They sent us an email with the pronunciation, which I like when people do that, so thank you. It is hacks cheat codes ? Hey Mike and Tyler, have you considered doing an episode about hacking and cheat codes in games? Best FBass 25. Yeah. I want to talk about Game Shark.
Yeah,
We talked about Game Shark a little. We did a little bit at Game Shark.
Yeah, I feel like we did an episode on like Game Genie, Game Shark, from the lens of the like copyright, the lawsuits that were around it, because it was very pivotal in the sense of like if you are modifying the code of a game, which Game Shark or Game Genie is doing, Nintendo at one point was like, you are creating a derivative work of our game, and that's copyright infringement. You can't do that, and they were ruled against in court, where the people were like, the court was like, I don't care about that. They were like, this is fine. You bought the game. You're allowed to like modify it for your own personal use.
Yeah, you own it, so you can do that.
Yeah, you can. Donkey Kong Country, but you have infinite lives is not like a derivative work that somebody else is making money off of, right? Like this is not like a separate, different kind of game.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. I didn't like getting game over, so I gave myself infinite lives.
That's funny. I think we could do one. Maybe if you talk about like your classic standard button prompt cheats. We haven't talked about those, like the up, down, left, right kind of things, but we could do that and talk about that sometime. I mean, I wonder what the first game is with that.
Yeah.
There's got to be a notation of it. We could look into this. There's got to be a thing.
Hacks are interesting too, of like, I guess that sort of falls into like the Game Shark, Game Genie thing. And then on PC, you get a little bit more. And then that sort of blends into like modding too, where you can create like sort of meaningfully derivative works out of a base game. That's also very interesting. So yeah, that's definitely worth talking about. And nowadays, like cheat codes don't really exist in games because some games, they would rather sell that to you where they're like, do you want more coins? Just buy them. I'm like, okay.
It's a bummer, man. I mean, I will say, like, not to bring it back to Battlefield 6 because that's what I've been playing, but Battlefield 6 has these like battle passes on them. But the cool thing is, you still unlock the guns by playing the game, and that's as long as that's in there, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah.
You know what I
Do you
mean?
have to pay? If you don't pay, can you still unlock the guns? If you don't get the battle pass?
When you buy the base game, you can still get the guns, and then the battle pass weapons are like variations of the guns. So there's like the base gun, you unlock attachments by leveling it up by playing the game, right? And then there are these special kinds that have like titles that are certain sets, like setups in certain ways, and they have these cool paint jobs and these cool names, and that's like what's given to you through challenges and then the battle pass, which I really like because it's like you don't want to like make it so you have to pay to play, right? That's just an instant way to take me out of a video game. Is like, and that's why I think Destiny 2 worked so well too for me. Was originally you would get these guns by doing an activity that was hard to do.
Yeah,
that's what that Whisper of the Worm. You earned that gun by getting carried by a 14-year-old, which is what Tyler and I did, and that was important. And that's the fun thing to do.
Vex Mythoclast, you get. Just kidding. You don't get that, even if you've done Vault of Glass 800 times.
How many clears did we do? Did we look it up? It was like 30 or 40 clears.
It's got to be dozens, and you never got it. Yeah.
And our friend Aaron got it on the first try.
Yeah, still mad about
the camera at Aaron.
Still mad about that, Aaron.
We're both mad at you. Okay, that's good. I wonder if he watches this. I probably maybe a year from now he'll be like, "Why did you guys get mad at me that one episode?" Okay, so I do.
That was years ago. We're still upset about it.
Yeah, we're still mad about it. We'll do cheating and hacking though for sure.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Also, hacking in the context of speed running is something we could talk about as well.
Yeah, like abusing glitches. Mm-hmm. Yeah, is that hacking?
Actually, that's not hacking though.
Well, we can define it. Right. We should define it.
Oh man, we gotta make our own definitions.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get into it and make our own definitions. We don't have to do it now though. That's just a lot. All right, Ty. Do you want to do? Do you want me to do this one, or you got this one?
I'll do this one. Okay, so the subject here is Second Life. Parts of this message have been edited, and
yes,
I think the person who sent it. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about Second Life. They get into the context of adult video games, because that's part of what Second Life is, right? It's like
Yeah, it's
adult
sort of
content video
it's
games.
so open that it encompasses lots of different types of things.
And I thought this is a really good email to read about Second Life, and they get into that. So I've cut out some of that because I don't know as a podcast how we would talk about that yet. Like not saying we're not going to someday. I just don't know.
Just
how,
adult stuff, and we're
just
generally
adult content in general. Yeah, we don't know
Yeah.
how to cover that kind of stuff because there's other games too that I'm like, well, that's an important game historically, but I don't know if we can cover it because of whatever. So that's your preface warning.
Yeah.
So Tyler, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah. So the email begins. Hi, one of your episodes, you briefly mentioned Second Life, and it seemed like you hadn't played it before. I don't even know why I'm telling you this, but here's some info. It might be particularly interesting if you ever do an episode on adult gaming. So what it is. I was trying to think of how one would even describe what Second Life is, or who, if anyone, should go through all the hoops of getting into it. There's a lot of baggage as a system with 2 decades of backward compatibility and a UI that was not designed by today's standards. If you want to have your character look good, for example, you have to learn a user-designed system for skins and clothing that's bolted on top of the original system and that coexists with the base system but is largely incompatible and doesn't entirely make sense when you look at traditional character creation tools. The end. That's after Mike cut out some pieces of this.
Yeah.
So Second Life isn't just an adult simulator, of course. You have other genres of roleplay too. People have been very creative over the years. The one thing is a lot of the creativity has been abandoned as the game decreased in popularity over time. Major portions of the world are almost empty. Like the mechanisms for interesting roleplay are all there, but there just aren't very many people. Usually the completely abandoned parts don't persist forever, except the parts made by Linden Lab themselves, because someone stops paying for the land and it gets deleted. So like Second Life, like almost everything in that game, or a very large chunk of that game, is user generated. So things can disappear if that person decides to stop maintaining that thing, or for whatever reason. Again, I haven't played, so I don't know the exact specifics, but like things sort of disappear if the person who made it kind of stops, maintaining it, I guess. So yeah, okay. Sorry for the dump. Good luck with the podcast. Cheers, Chris. Thanks, Chris. Yeah. There's a lot going on in Second Life. Like it is very much an open-ended sort of like just like life simulator, like humanity simulator, I guess. Maybe that's a good way to
yeah.
put
And they
it.
mentioned in that middle part, like I cut out all of it because I was just like, I don't know what we should like pick from this or what we shouldn't pick.
It gets
from
pretty
this.
explicit, and it was
And and it's like, but they go into the fact that it's like that you can do other forms of role play. It's not just obviously adult oriented content, but I really feel like if we were going to do an episode on Second Life, we would need to have a guest on, and it would probably have to be a guest that's either like written a book about Second Life or has like YouTube essays about Second Life, something that's
some sort
like
of credentials of being a
Exactly.
Second Life expert.
because Tyler and I don't know really a lot about it other than the very base that it's like, yeah, user created content. You can do whatever you want. You can buy land and like develop it. Essentially, it's like that's kind of the extent of my knowledge of Second Life. But I'm happy that Chris brought it up, and I wanted to give Chris a shout out because that is something that I think is a major part of like the MMO space. Because it did something different than most MMOs did, and that we're going to be like a life simulator.
Yeah, it's so focused on user generated content, and I think you can put money into the game. If I'm not mistaken, you can also take money out of the game, so you can like run a business in this game, like selling shirts that you designed or whatever, like actually make real like money that you can then like this could be your job. From what I understand, I could be wrong about that. Chris, send me an email if we're wrong about that. But like that's how like so the like sort of simulation kind of goes both ways. They don't just take money; they also will pay money out.
Yeah, I hope Chris emails again with more context. That would be nice. Also, sorry for deleting so much of the email. We don't know how to get into that kind of stuff. I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend like I know. So I'm just.
We know lots of people listen to this with their kids, so.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't want to put that on them. But okay, so thank you, Chris, for the email. Now we got 2 Discord questions, and they are doozies. Are you ready?
Let's go.
This is from Scarlett. Hi, Mike and Tyler. I recently bought a 3DS and have been diving into the back catalog of games from that era. I did a search on Spotify. It doesn't look like the 3DS has been covered yet on the podcast, at least not that I could find. Did you guys have any experience with the system back in its heyday? Smiley face. And do you want me to answer first, or do you want to go first, Tyler?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I, in 2018, bought a 2DS. It's the Pikachu face one. I have it over there.
It's a really good
And I
one.
was like, I'm going to get into
Is it XL?
playing. It is an XL. Yeah, it's a 2DS XL. I'm going to get into playing 3DS games. I'm going to enjoy it. And I bought 2 games, and I have not bought any since, but I did play these, and I enjoy them. In fact, while we recorded the podcast early on, you might hear me talk about playing one of these games. So, or both of them. So I recommend Ultra Sun and Moon. I got Ultra Moon. Pokemon Ultra Moon. Okay. Very fun game. Got me back into Pokemon again. Feels good. And then I recommend Fire Emblem Awakening. Never played a Fire Emblem game until this one. Really love it. Need to play more Fire Emblem games. Don't have the time because that's what adulthood is like. But I will say that I recommend these two games, and that's what I would say is that. There's also like Luigi's Mansion on those, though.
Yeah. Yep.
Like the 3DS has a huge library. It's
Yeah.
wild we haven't talked about it, actually.
And a
But
lot of
there's
the more
so much to
popular
play,
games did eventually get like Switch ports too.
which is how I played Super Mario 3D Land, because that came with Bowser's Fury, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
that's 3D
on
World.
Switch.
That's a different game. 3D Land is its own game. That's a
Is
separate.
3D World, was that also on 3DS though?
That was a Wii U game.
Oh man, so I'm getting them mixed
Yeah,
up.
3D
Land
World
is-
and 3D Land were like companion games. Like they're very similar in gameplay, but 3D Land they are different games though.
Okay, I very professionally dropped something, so you have to cover the podcast for 10 seconds. You ready? Go.
Yeah. So for me, my brother picked up a 3DS on launch day because he for a period of time of like 10 years probably, he was picking up every portable system on launch day. This kid got a Game Boy Advance he saved up for. He got a PSP that he had saved up for to get on launch day. And then he also got a DS on launch day and a 3DS on launch day. So I played vicariously through my brother for a little while because the 3D effect on the screen was very cool.
Yeah, I missed that. Like I missed that. So my 2DS is just straight up like 2D, right? But I kind of know it was like a pretty groundbreaking feature because the fact that it could do 3D without having to wear glasses.
Yeah, it was cool.
Wild.
It was cool. It didn't make a difference in the sense that like there are as far as I know, and please somebody correct me if you have an example of this, but like as far as I know, there were no games that like really required this or really got a lot out of it. It's really like a thing you turn on. Like for me at least, I turn it on once in a while when I'm playing 3DS and I go, that's pretty cool, and then I turn it off. It's like it's cool. I don't hate it, but I usually end up turning it off because I don't think it adds very much, and it sort of can get a little bit headachy and like the newer 3DSs, like the new 3DS has like they have some head tracking stuff that makes it a little bit better than like the original run of the 3DS. I did get my own 3DS in like 2013 probably, and I played Pokemon X version, which is like a Pokemon game that I really loved for a while, and is why I've been enjoying Pokemon Legends ZA right now because it kind of takes place in the same world. Super Mario 3D Land is awesome. Metal Gear Solid 3 got Snake Eater got a 3DS version, which is
Snake Eater has a 3DS version?
Yeah, which is always kind of wild to me. It was kind of the last time that Nintendo had a parallel console and handheld going. So there were some games that were like 3D World and 3D Land that like sort of had like a portable component to it or companion game, which we've talked about before, like portable Game Boy companion games of like console games. Like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker also had something similar. Man, I got it. Okay, and I feel like I got to look up a list of top 3DS games.
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, they put a miniature version of that in that Wii U.
Yeah,
Super
3D
Mario
World had Captain Toad Treasure Tracker things and
side quests. Those were what the side quests was.
Yeah.
Like, Katie and I played those. We really dug that
Yeah.
part. And I'm like, oh, this is its own separate game. It's Treasure Tracker. And I didn't put that together until after we played the game.
Yeah, people loved it so much they just made a whole game. Oh, Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds. That game is awesome.
Oh yeah,
it's
I
a little
actually
bit
should
different.
Buy that.
Yeah, it's a little bit different on the Zelda scale because you can go to the dungeons in any order and you don't get like how in most Zelda games you go to the dungeon that has like a special item in it and then you get the item from the dungeon. In this game, there's like a store at the very beginning and you can just buy any of the items from the game or rent them for cheaper, which is also kind of weird. I think you can like rent one at a time and then you go do the dungeons in whatever order you want. It was a very cool Zelda game. I don't know if I loved that sort of progression system because it kind of took away from the like I'm on a journey, like getting stronger the whole time. But it was still cool, worth playing. The Metroid 2 Samus Returns remake, also very good. Remake of the original Game Boy game. It got Shin Megami Tensei 4 too. That was a 3DS game for some reason, which I did get. I think I got a Switch port eventually, or it's on Steam or something. Yeah,
I wonder if are these games cheap right now? They gotta be, right? They haven't hit that level like
Yeah, I think so.
Retro games have. I feel like Game Boy Advance has kind of hit that level. Really, just Pokemon games have hit that level. But I don't feel like those ones are too expensive yet.
Yeah.
I can't because I kind of want to play those. I kind of want to buy some of those games just because. I mean, I have the system and it's fun to play it on the old system, and I barely played it. Like, I got it. I remember getting this on a deal, like a Black Friday deal. Is
Yeah.
how I got the Pikachu thing. So it came with like a Pokeball battery pack that I still have. That's pretty
Nice.
cool. Yeah, so it's pretty neat. But
There's some good remakes to the Mario and Luigi. Superstar Saga got a remake. Donkey Kong Country Returns. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
no, you didn't cut me off. You did great. I'm worried about cutting you off.
Mario Kart 7's great. Bravely Default is great. I'm just scrolling through like a list of top. Oh, it did get a remake of Xenoblade Chronicles too, which I guess would be better to play on Switch these days. Wow. Yeah, I'm just scrolling. Samus Returns.
I just like the portability of it. I wonder if I almost want to buy a game for it and take it on a trip with me, just to do a little throwback.
Star Fox 64, 3DS.
Oh,
Yeah.
I probably would want to do a Link Between Worlds. That would be the.
You
one
should
I
do a
wanna
Link Between Worlds. That is one. If you haven't played, very, very, very worth playing. The Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask remakes are really good too.
Nice. I wonder if I have some DS games over there too, but I didn't bring those over because these are the only true 3DS games I have.
Yeah, that's true. Full compatibility with DS was pretty sweet.
And ever since I sold my DS and I was sad about it, I'm living vicariously through my childhood self here doing that.
They did take the 3DS store offline. Like you can't go online on 3DS as far as I know anymore. Maybe some games still left their servers up and running, but I think everything is shut down. So if you hack it, there's like good reasons to hack it because you're not really worried about getting banned from things, and then you can, of course, download games to it that you legally own beforehand.
Obviously.
Of course, obviously. Yeah. But they're pretty easy to hack, and you can get a lot of value out of it. Emulators and stuff.
Cool. Oh yeah, it's probably a great emulation machine.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Not to mention the virtual console. You can play Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and I think there's a mechanism for moving Pokemon from those games to newer Pokemon games too, which is kind of cool.
Oh man, if once I figure out how to rename my pet in Guild Wars, we'll go that far. Okay, that's the next step. I forgot to Google that. Okay, last message for the day. This is a Discord message from Mo, our friend Mo, for the next mailbag. Is it time for a modern-day AA or AAA reboot of Oregon Trail? I can picture fully 3D graphics and gameplay in Unreal Engine 5 or something, an open-world-ish game design, maybe a few large open-area routes to Oregon with plenty to explore, fully developed hunting, fishing, and resource management gameplay. You'd have the usual challenges, difficult decision-making, storms, weather, illness, crossing rivers, fighting off aggressors, etc. You could add some RPG elements, character creation, or lean heavily on historical journals to feature characters with fully voice-acted dialogue. I think there's still so much potential for an expanded Oregon Trail concept. Would you play a game like this? What kinds of gameplay features would you want to see? And now that I'm rereading this, Tyler, doesn't a lot of this sound like Red Dead Redemption 2?
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say, what if you made basically Red Dead Redemption 2, but it's moving from Independence, Missouri to Oregon. Like that's the story being told.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the cool things about the original Oregon Trail was the way that things sort of like diverged, and like there was some sort of like emergent storytelling that happened in there. Like certain people would get sick, and you didn't know who was gonna get sick, that kind of thing. So that would be cool if you did it in such a way that like every run was different. And you had some sort of like emergent storytelling going on there where you got attached to characters that like other people won't have in their games. That could be really cool. That could be really, really cool.
I thought Red Dead Redemption 2, and then I actually just thought of the new Darkest Dungeon 2 because that's like a wagon that you're driving on a trip in a roguelike situation.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know why I'm thinking of these two games in particular, but I could see it being done where you go to a new area. Like instead of like a level, it's like you different biomes, and there's some sort of travel mechanic between. Because the journey part of it, like you're saying, like that's the big thing. Maybe you start in Independence, Missouri, you play in Independence, Missouri, you do all your prep you want to do, then you travel. I don't know how that's done to a new area, and when you get to that new area, you see all the things that happened to your wagon between, and then you try to resolve those problems in this open world area and essentially figure it out. Like that's kind of how I would see it, because you can't just do a fully realized 3D map where you fast forward and watch the wagon go across. It's got to be something.
There's a lot of like boring downtime in a game like this. You have to
Mhm.
figure out which parts are like valuable and which parts are like worth sort of like fast forwarding through, like you said. But that there could be something cool there that sort of
Yeah.
tests those same skills, because like Oregon Trail was really like a game of preparation, and then how do you deal with the random things that happen to you on the way? Like, did you properly prepare for certain things? Are you taking a risk in other ways? Like maybe you don't pack a lot of medical supplies in order to pack more food or something, and you're just like hoping that you don't get sick on the way, and maybe you do, maybe you don't, right? Like, how do you deal with, oh no, we didn't bring any medical supplies, but we did get sick, right? That kind of stuff could be very, very interesting. You could make it very long, because like Oregon Trail is kind of designed to be played in one sitting, right? You start and you end sort of in one sitting. You could make this like a long, like a Red Dead style game that's different every time. It would be very fun. Could be very cool.
Rockstar, you got to go buy the rights to Oregon Trail.
Mm-hmm.
What if you did like a little surprise? You were like, we've been working on this for 3 years. We didn't tell anybody, but we made an Oregon Trail game. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would play it, and I would be excited about it.
Yeah.
And also, then the hunting mechanic would be better, because you'd use the targeting that they have in Red Dead Redemption 2, which is awesome.
Everybody gets Deadeye in the Oregon Trail.
Everyone gets Deadeye on the Oregon Trail. Everyone had it. Historically accurate.
That's
Oregon
true.
Trail Deadeye.
Yeah, what happened? Us as a society, we don't. Nobody knows how to do Deadeye anymore.
You used to be able to just smoke some cigarettes and then put everything in slow motion, and now you can't do that. Oh man, this was good though. That's a really good question, Mo. Thank you for that. That's fun. That's the episode today. Tyler, what you been playing?
I've been playing Pokemon Legends ZA. It's nice because it takes place in Lumiose City, which is the large city in Pokemon X and Y. Pretty sure. I guess now I'm questioning myself. Pretty sure that's the case. Yeah, ZA, because it's X and Y. That's been pretty fun. It's a more like real time combat system than other Pokemon games, which are very turn based. This has some sort of like kind of feels like turn based a little bit, because your moves all have cooldowns and stuff. It feels a little bit more like a World of Warcraft, except you only have 4 skills per Pokemon, and like pulling him out, putting him back in is like very strategic. I would love to see like a multiplayer version of it. I don't think this game has multiplayer in that way, like a cooperative version. But I've been having some fun with that. I've only put in a few hours, so I'm not like deep into it, but it's been pretty cool. And then you and I have still been working our way through Guild Wars, the original Guild Wars. We're just doing like missions every now and then, and it's fun. It just feels,
Super fun.
It's just a 20-year-old game that just is what it is,
It's chill. We got carried by a guy. It was really funny. And then they started talking to us about the game like we're going to spend the rest of our lives on it, which was hilarious.
Yeah, I was like,
I don't have the heart to tell this guy that I don't really care if I get into PvP about this.
yeah, I don't need to be min-maxing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of want to get through this, go through the story and play till it's not fun anymore. We're having a good time. The Reforged stuff is really cool. The controller support is great, although I'm not really using it, but it is cool that it's there. Yeah.
I just want to level up my kitty cat and figure out how to name it. So
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah. What have you been playing, Mike?
Guild Wars with you, pretty much. I haven't really been playing. I played a little bit of Battlefield still. I was thinking about picking up another game, and then I got distracted by life, and I just downloaded The Witcher 3 again to go through the DLCs, because I'm kind of like feeling it again.
Mm-hmm.
So I might do that as like a solo activity, just play through The Witcher 3, because I miss those times. I have nostalgia for just like a couple years ago where you and I would play single games together but separately, and we just watch each other play player games, and that's what I'm feeling right now. So maybe
play alone together.
We hop up on the Kingdom Hearts train again.
Oh yeah, we're like halfway through Kingdom Hearts 2 and then abandoned it like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. We got to pick it up again. Pick it up.
Yeah, we should.
All right. Well, yeah, that's good. Okay. Before I forget, and before I leave, I did write down what I need to plug. So we now have a TikTok, an Instagram, and a YouTube channel. Okay. So it's Codex History of Video Games on TikTok, Codex History Podcast on Instagram, and Codex History of Video Games on YouTube. That's where you can catch our non-podcast level content of like videos and stuff. And I'm really trying to put something out every day, trying to be good. We're doing it. The Codex Empire is beginning. Do you feel it?
The media empire. I can feel it.
The media empire is beginning to start. You can. There's still no monetization whatsoever. It's happening. So anything else you want to know about us, you can go to codexhistorypodcast.net or send us an email at codexhistorypodcast@gmail.com. And I think that's it. That's it for the day. You want to say bye to everybody? I don't know what we're doing next week. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, we'll figure something out. I will say goodbye to everybody. Bye, everybody.